Hello, and welcome to Book Tea. Not spoilers included this month, but recap. Many things that you might have noticed. I'm not joined by my lovely, glorious sister right now, and we're in a different room. Hi, welcome to my room. And we aren't going to be talking with my sister, because today we're just talking about me. Well, actually, not today. Overall, you can watch my sister's recap up here, or, after you finish mine, if you want. Or you might have come from my sister's video, and hi. In case you can't tell us apart, my name is Ella. Wonderland is my pen name. Obviously, I don't know if this is obvious, but I'm an avid lover of audiobooks. So the books that I have here, these aren't all the books I read this half a year, so we'll get to more, and I have a lovely list on my iPad of all the books I've read. So I'm just going to read them. Oh yeah, also I'm kind of sick right now. I'm getting over a cold. So if I sound weird, that's it. So first I'm just going to read them all in order, and then I will go relatively in order, but I will group, say, book series, trilogies, whatnot, that all go together. So first book I read this year was Legendary. Then I read Stalking Jack the Ripper, A Tempest of Tea, Cruel Prince, Wicked King, Queen of Nothing, Crave, Crush, Covet, Stolen Heir, The Prisoner's Throne, Once Upon a Broken Heart, The Ballad of Never After, A Curse for True Love, Finale, A Crane Among Wolves, Caraval, The Name of the Wind, 1,000 Steps into Night, Six of Crows, Sunrise on the Reaping, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands. I think that's what it's called. So, starting with the Caraval trilogy, I read the first book December of last year. This beat up British copy, because my sister got it while she was in England. And I obviously read the second book in January, and then the third book I think was in February or March. It was right before we did our book tea on it, if you want to watch that in-depth conversation on it up there. I would say overall I really enjoyed the Caraval series for what it was. It's not going to be my top book series of the year. I did really enjoy Finale and Caraval. I didn't love Legendary, but something that I found interesting, because I like Scarlet more than Donatella, was everyone was like, Scarlet becomes a side character in the third book, but I really didn't think so. I mean, I definitely wanted her to have more time than she did, but she definitely was still a major character, so I did appreciate that and was surprised by that, so that was really nice. Overall, I would say the series is 4 out of 5 stars. I think on Goodreads I gave Caraval 4 out of 5, Legendary 3 out of 5 because I like it less, and Finale 4 out of 5. So I would say it's about 4 out of 5 overall. The writing style can be a little overly dramatic for me, but at other times it's just so lovely. Overall, I enjoyed Caraval, 4 out of 5 stars. Next, we're just going to have a tiny brief interlude of Stalking Jack the Ripper. I didn't really like it. I'm just going to say it like that. I think I gave this 2 stars on Goodreads. Just plot? Where was the plot? I mean, I know it was there, but I don't like in books when they reveal something and they're like, oh, how did you not guess this? It's like, of course it was. I'm not going to say who it was because that would spoil the entire book. But there were no, complex clues left for us. It was just that one thing that we mentioned. How did you not realize that meant this? Also, the historical accuracy, up for debate. I'm not a historian, but my sister did a ton of research for her lovely book, so. And I didn't love the main character, so that's just 3 strikes equals 2 stars. Moving on. A Tempest of Tea. Okay, so when I first read this book, just thought, oh, this is so cool. I mean, I still do. I still think it's a pretty cool book. I'm not going to say it's amazing. I think I gave it either 3 or possibly 4. I think I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads, and I think that's a solid rating. I think it's a good book. I think it's well written. I really enjoyed the world, but it's in pacing and character development and character interaction that I felt it was lacking. I feel like I didn't get a clarification of Arthi, the main character's relationship to the people who worked for her, the other people of the group, I understood why she was doing all the things she was doing, but I didn't understand the way she was doing them and why she had chosen that way exactly. And she seemed counterintuitive to herself, like simultaneously she's like hating on these people for being selfish, but how she acts is in a very, you just gotta make all the things for yourself, which, I mean, she doesn't have the support group of the government behind her, so I get that angle, but overall, I wanted a little more, and I'm excited to read the second book when it comes out, so 3 out of 5 stars. Okay. Oh ho ho ho. Now, we are getting into the Folk of the Air trilogy, which, I mean, talking about the most beloved YA fantasy trilogy right now, I think, is a little daunting, seeing as how I didn't love it. Okay, I'm gonna preface this by saying it's a good world. I think it has a similar problems to A Tempest of Tea. In the world, the structure, the environment, great. Character interactions and how they mature kind of lost me there. How the first book, I think I gave it 4 stars, could easily be a 5-star. But it was so close to being a 5-star for me. But it wasn't quite there. I think it was in the emotional connection between, especially, I think her name is Vivian. I did not like her character. And I felt like she had so much space to be cool. And she wasn't there for her sisters. She's constantly like, oh yeah, my sisters are the most important people to me and I would do anything for them. But when it comes to Carden, who apparently she knows and is kind of friends with, she doesn't do anything. Or does she not know? I can't remember if Jude makes a point of her not knowing. She should have at least noticed that something was up. I mean, like, it would start to become evident if you really... I mean, I can tell when my siblings are off pretty quickly. And I feel like if you're that careful about a person... Also, I don't like how she treated her girlfriend. I think that was totally unfair, and I'm totally siding with her girlfriend in this. 'Cause, what the heck? That was so wrong. And then it's just like, I'm gonna give you another chance. Like, I think you can find someone better, my dear. Anyway, those are my notes. I think overall... Oh, yeah, also, I think we all can agree... the ending, well, what was that? Queen of Nothing ending? Because the ending of the second book was so cool, and the ending of the first book also so cool. Third book, what was that ending? I think I gave third book either 2 or 3 stars, and then I gave the other 2 4 stars. So overall, I would say 3.5 stars. I know I'm rounding down, whereas I rounded up for Carval, but I would say it is closer to rounding down, so I'm gonna do that. And now we get into the weird interlude of when I read Crush, Crave, and Covet. I think that's the first 3 books of that series. This was because I didn't want to read anything that I would care about. Because I just read a book for Book Tea. I just read Folk of the Air, which, I mean, so important to modern book politics. And I was like, I just want a goofy read. And so I read the thing that was available on Libby. And that was Crave. And I'm going to be honest, I was shocked at how much I kind of enjoyed it. Like, it's not a great book series. I haven't finished it. But it's solidly better than I was expecting. I was expecting non-edited fanfic level writing, and it is close to that, but it is not that. It is like 2 steps up from that. It's a little better. I mean, the curse, the how they were doing the cursing and like the whole teenage slang and it was just getting to me a little bit. I'm not in love with that. 'Cause already that's like getting so dated. Anyway, what surprised me the most is how it could convincingly do a love interest switcheroo on me And me go from being like, yes, this guy's cool, you should like this guy. Not like you should, I mean, you can like whoever you want. But then to be like, oh my gosh, this guy's so much cooler. And I'm proud of that book series for doing that. And also it being like, I can love you even if we're not together, which is a really good message, and I do really appreciate that. So overall, didn't love it, obviously didn't finish the series, but it was good. I think I gave first book 2 stars, second book 2 stars, and third book 3 stars, because the third book was my favorite. It could actually be like 3.5 stars, but you can't do half stars on Goodreads. So yeah, overall, I would say 2.5 stars. I'm gonna round up. And then we get to the Stolen Heir duology. The duology about Oak and Ren. I loved the first book. I think I gave it 4 stars. It was good. It was a little journey. I was on it. I appreciated it. It was a vibe. The second book, I don't know if it was just how she wrote Oak, but why does he have no thoughts? I don't think I remember a single thought Oak had. Like, Ren is all up in her head. She's just like, think, gotta figure out who to side with, and she's coming up with plans. Oak is like this masterful scheming man, but when you get inside his head, he's just like, this is happening. This is also happening. I should go see Ren. And I don't want to be insulting, but like, again, it's like such great world and such great story. Like the plot, Holly Black's plots, so cool. So interesting. Like, yes, I do want to know how the daughter of the current military leader and the, figures, it's just really cool setup. And Ren's backstory, so fascinating. Oak's story, also super cool, but like, I don't know. I think I gave Prisoner's Throne 2 stars. It's not that bad of a book. It's just, I didn't like it. It was a solid story, but again, the ending fell pretty flat to me. I don't know. I have high hopes for her next book. I don't know if I have high hopes. I have interest in the next book because I heard rumors that it's from Cardinal's POV, so that'll be super interesting, and I will definitely be reading it. But overall, I'd say the Stolen Heir duology, I give 3 stars. Oh, but now we get to go into Once Upon a Broken Heart. Okay, so I might like this series a little too much, but I don't think I do. So, first book, I gave 4 stars. Second book, I gave 5 stars. And third book, I gave 4 stars. And this is solidly, I think, the only trilogy that I have read where the second book is my favorite. That never happens. But that ending, everyone hated it, and I hated it too, but I love things that I hate. Like, pain is my favorite thing. I'm not a masochist, but like, in books. I just like tragedies, okay? It's my favorite thing. Romeo and Juliet. It's my favorite movie. This one. That Romeo and Juliet. Once Upon a Broken Heart. Also, I love the premise. I love how the message, because, I feel like so many people have fallen in love. I don't love the term falling in love, but, have been in love with someone and that obviously not have lasted, and then find someone else to be in love with. And I think that's a really sweet and hard thing to deal with, because you did truly love someone else, but learning to love someone new is vital and super important. And you can love someone who has been horrible to you, and learning to change that love and find a different way to relate to them, not meaning in an unloving way, but in a more distant, safe way. I think that's a beautiful thing. I don't know if they touch on that. I mean, they kind of do in how she relates to the other guy. I don't want to spoil anything. I also love Evangeline's character. I think it's super beautiful. She's wonderful. I also love Jax's character. As I was reading Legendary, actually, I was like, I find Jax more interesting than Dante. And Aubin was like, really? Okay, there is a book series about him. And I was like, hold the phone. There's a book series about Jax. And so I paused reading. I didn't read finale. I listened to all 3 of Once Upon a Broken Heart before I read finale, which I also love that Stephanie Garber made it so you can read that and not have spoilers for, I mean, you obviously do have massive spoilers, but you're like, it doesn't make Caraval story any less interesting, which I find wonderful. Overall, I would say 4.5 star. I'm gonna round up again because it's just so, that series is it's like a comfort series. I mean, I already read it twice. I only said it out loud once, but I listened to it. I just call them the same thing. I listened to it once by myself, and then I listened to the whole series over again with Aubin, which was super fun. So I'm definitely gonna read/listen to the series more. Okay, now we get to an interesting one-off book, Crane Among Wolves. This book, it just popped up on Libby, and I was like, yeah, of course I will read that. And it is so fascinating. I mean, writing style for me personally is not my favorite, but it is such a cool story. And I mean, I don't know a lot of Korean history. I've never studied it really. And so to get that perspective is so cool, and that story was just so fascinating to me because I'd never learned about that point in time in Korea. It's just again, I love tragedies, but I also love overcoming tragedy, and I think the most beautiful and important thing about overcoming tragedy is you don't forget about it. You honor it in a way. You honor what you've lost, and you remember it, and you move on to live for what the tragedy couldn't. And I think that is a really beautiful thing. So I think I gave that book 4 stars, and I think it's really great. It's not the easiest read. It's not crazy in depth about the violence, but that might be because I just read a good amount of violent books. If you're squeamish, if you don't, I mean, it is a really brutal time, so read at your own risk. I think it starts with trigger warnings, so definitely read all of those. But yeah, it was a really interesting read. Also, I love anything that has to do with history, so it was super cool. And now, oh my goodness, we get to Name of the Wind. Yes, 5 stars off the bat. So good. I can't spoil anything. And that is such a great thing about that book, is everything I could say about it is vital to the story and to the characters. And it is, I would say, people, throw around plot-based or character-based stories a lot, and I would say it is the perfect mix of both. I am a character-based person more, and how it shows the plot through the characters, so good. Also, the ending of the story at the beginning, but you don't know the story at all. And it goes like woo woo, and you're like, how do we get here? What? And so you have to go on the journey. If you're wondering, I have not read the second book because I'm protesting. No, I will read it soon. But I am also protesting. Patrick, my dear Mr. Rothfuss, I have been waiting a very short amount of time. But others have been waiting for, I think, over a decade. What are you doing? What has driven you so to torture us as you have? Again, I am in support of authors taking their time, so if you really need this long, I guess that's okay. But the first book, the characters, the world, his line writing, excuse me, fabulous. I need to get my hands on a copy because I annotate and like, oh my gosh, that is ripe for the plunder of what? I need to talk to you because the line writing you have in your book is the best I have ever seen. 10 out of 10, 5 stars out of 5 stars. Like, whoo, wow. New favorite book? Yeah, probably favorite book. Wow. Does my book count? It's not out yet. Does it still count? You're fighting for the first place with me in my heart. So that's rather impressive. If you haven't read it and you're a high fantasy person, or even if you're not high fantasy and you just like fantasy, or if you just like good stories, you must read it. It's the best book I've read, most likely. Again, we have another one-off. Actually don't know if it's a one-off. I think it's a first in a series, but there aren't any more books. But 1,000 Steps into Night. I think that's what it is. 1,000 Steps into Night. This book was solidly fun. I listened to it on the plane to Miami, actually. My dad had a work trip there, so Aubin and I went, so that was super fun. Anyway, it's a pretty good book. I mean, I solidly enjoyed it. It wasn't like, whoa. The ending was pretty fast, but it didn't feel rushed exactly. It wasn't like amazing, but it was one of those books that you're like, wow, the journey was more important than the destination, which was fun. It was a solid ride. I think I gave this either 3 or 4 stars, and I think it's right in the middle. If you want like a good old adventure with some, I don't know if it's, I've only studied Japanese mythology, but it definitely had some more East Asian ideas and folklore philosophy, which, I mean, I love. It was a really fun ride. It was sweet. It was more chill. I think that would be a good story if you're a younger person getting into fantasy, especially like non-Western fantasy. It was a cute, fun ride. I really enjoyed it. Alrighty, guys. Do I even need to preface this? 6 of Crows. 5 star. It's so good. All the characters, again, I'm a character lover. All the characters, so cool. How they argue, how they don't agree on pretty much everything, fabulous. I love that in books. That's my favorite thing. I don't want characters to agree. I want them to argue, debate stuff, because they're people. If you grab 6 random people who all come from very different backgrounds, of course they're gonna argue. It's so great. I'm currently reading Crooked Kingdom. I'm like halfway through. It's on pause right now because I don't want it to be over, but I also don't want to read it. Those two things actually go together. I don't want it to be over, and I don't really want to read it right now, so it's just like sitting over there staring at me as I read 2 other books, so I feel like I should hold my books. And I have my own copy. It sadly has a Netflix sticker, but we will persist and live on past Netflix. I think that Netflix, seeing as how it canceled the show, it should also not be able to have its sticker on the book. That's my petition. But, I mean, mine was a secondhand book, so it probably would have had it anyway. If you haven't read 6 of Crows, I don't know why I'm gonna be the last person to tell you to before you read it, but I will be. What are you doing? Audiobook reader? Cool. Go and grab the audiobook. Physical book reader? Cool. You probably have a library near you. Hopefully. If you don't, ask a friend. Maybe they can loan it to you. If you don't have any friends, I'm so sorry for you. But I grabbed this for, I think, like $10. It's an awesome book, and maybe you can loan it to someone else who needs it. Because everyone needs this book. Not everyone, okay? If you're a younger person, But you don't need to read Six of Crows. If you're like below the age of 13, you might want to ask yourself. But also, if you have read Six of Crows and haven't read Cricket Kingdom, I feel like that's rather insulting to the story. Are there some things in Cricket Kingdom that we wish wouldn't happen? Yes. Does the ending of Six of Crows feel vaguely satisfying and like you can write up your own ending? Yes. But did Leigh Bardugo write an ending for us that we all kind of didn't want, but we have, and it's still gorgeously beautiful throughout its tragedy? Yes. And I love tragedies, so I'm happy. I don't know what to say for you guys. You can enjoy it however much you want, but I would suggest reading it, because why would you leave a series that you enjoyed unfinished? That's my personal opinion. Now we have another one-off, Sunrise on the Reaping. I listened to this with my family as we drove back from Florida, which if you met us in Florida, hi! Anyway, it was a really fun trip, and driving back was made so much faster by listening to this audiobook. Also, the reader is excellent. If you're an audiobook person, highly suggest. The book itself, I really enjoyed. I'm not, like, just saying it to say, like, oh, yeah, I enjoyed it when I'm lying, but I really did solidly enjoy it. I didn't love it. The plot itself petered off for me towards the end. I felt that scene where he discovers what happened in one of the previous books was super rushed and kind of awkward, and it was super confusing to me as to how he made that connection and why he never told anyone else. Anyway, I just felt like some things at the end were just a little bit too meh. I mean, I think Suzanne Collins has a bit of a problem with endings. In general, she's just like, I don't know. If you've read Gregor, which is one of my favorite series of all time, also written by her, Gregor the Overlander, that ending is probably one of my least favorite book series endings because I wanted so much more. Enough Hunger Games books. I want a Gregor book of when he's in college and when Boots is like in high school. I want that. That's a small fan theory. It's a hope and a dream in my heart. And very finally, for today, we have Emily Wilde, Book 1 and Book 2. I love this series. Okay, obviously I haven't read the third one yet, and I really hope it is just as good as the other ones, because I love this. It's a few of my favorite things. It's historical, it's fantasy, it's science. I know it's not science, but it's a scientific study, okay, of folklore, which is like two of my favorite things in one. Yes, I'm a nerd, and I love it. It's such a good series. I love Emily. I love Wendell. I don't know if that's how you say his name. He has an Irish name, so I can't trust any Irish names. I read his last name as Brambleby because I'm dyslexic and put an R in there for no reason, but apparently it's Bambleby, as my sister, who's currently reading the first one, informed me. So that's pretty much my only annoyance with the series. I will say I didn't like the second book quite as much. I thought the pacing was a little bit, but I think that's a great thing that she utilizes, is the awkward pacing of the book. It's just like, it feels so real. It feels like diary entries. It feels like you're on an actual scientific expedition, and that is, you know, some days are just less important, and then sometimes you forget to write and then it's just like how she utilizes that with pacing is so good. And I love how the character is so well represented through, you know, the writing style. It's just, I love when the main character is the narrator or when another character is the narrator. I mean, I love third person too. I love books. So I really loved both books. I will say first one is more favorite. I think I gave that one 5 stars. And then second one, I think I gave 4 stars. They're both excellent reads, and I highly suggest for anyone. They are a little bit more, they're not violent. I mean, again, I have a very high book violence tolerance, so I would suggest that if you're younger, just read the warnings. I mean, I don't know if they have warnings, but, you know, it has some adult themes, but it's never explicit, so if you're a younger person reading it, there's really nothing that, unless it's like even mentions of sleeping with someone is not allowed, but there's nothing explicit in that book. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed that series. I mean, the first 2 books. I'm super excited to read the 3rd one. So thank you guys so much for sitting and listening to me rant for an unnecessarily long time about books I've read recently. I sadly did not have Aubin here to keep me on track, which is truly sad. But I hope you made some sense of it, and I hope that it inspired you to either read the books you're currently reading or possibly pick up one of these. Bye! Hello, and welcome. I'm gonna set this down now. Wait, is Caraval even on this list? Do I just have this for no reason? The entire Caraval series. I read the first book. Shouldn't have done that. There are more fish in the sea. Stolen Heir? Yes, the Stolen Heir duology. That just sounds so wrong, because it's the Folk of the Air trilogy, and then... Anyway. Wow. Did I not turn off the... Oh my gosh. Has there been an echo this whole time? Wait 1 sec. We might have had an echo this entire time that I didn't notice. Okay, well, I hope we didn't, because that would be a pain to edit. That's still me. I guess that's kind of a spoiler. As I was saying... What was I saying?